Hello everybody who's watching this video. This is a presentation about my research paper that I've recently done for an English college class. About it, for the research paper, I have researched the effects of running out of ideas on a professional level in video game development. What I have basically done for this research paper was focus on how new games have mainly been sequels or reboots of older games, which in the long run is very troubling, even though it doesn't seem like it is in the current day. Because the reason why some rebooted games are rebooted is because they did very well in the past, and the company wants to sort of ride on the success of what they did in the past, rather than risk creating a new thing and it not being successful. Pretty much what all has happened in the past has been, with some successful companies, they have just rebooted games that did really well, but they don't know what to do next, and to try to implement or change some small things within the games to make it seem better for a different console. Usually, Nintendo usually does this with either a Pokemon game, a Legend of Zelda game, or a Mario game. Most usually it is a Legend of Zelda game. Ones that have been done the most, from my understanding, is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which most recently was remade in 2011. I wish to say, if not, I will correct it in the video editing process. But Ocarina of Time 3D was ported to 3DS, and it was basically a tech demo of sorts. Tech demos are pretty much demonstrations of new capabilities and new hardware, since hardware improvements don't usually happen as fast as software improvements does. And in order to demonstrate the greatness of it, they usually use advanced software to put it to the test and usually to the limits that it can go. And what I thought originally was a lack of ideas in general in the areas of video game development, there was a surprising amount of creative and new content on sites like GameJolt. For those of you that don't know what it is, I will include a screenshot of a page of it. And personally, it will be probably one of my favorite games on there. It was very fun, to say the least. Right here, as you can see, this is a game called Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, which was created 3 years ago. And just to give you just a little taste of how popular it has been played over 200,000 times since it was made, and has received over 1.7 thousand ratings. That's just on this site. It's also on Steam, which is incredible. On Steam, it actually received a lot more. And it was also remade recently on Steam as a HD renovation, which is the name of it. And it cost $10 last I checked. As you saw just now, after editing, that game has been made into an HD renovation because it was so popular. And it wasn't the only game that was very popular. There was also another one called Undertale, which was created in 2014, I believe. And it has over 70,000 reviews, which is very shocking. But those two have had time. How about a new one? Cuphead. It was released in September this year. It's rated 10 out of 10 on Steam, 4.5 out of 5 on Microsoft, and it already has 14,000 reviews and is being played by most of the major YouTubers. even though the biggest one, PewDiePie, doesn't like it, which is kind of funny. So what I saw was that what the gaming company professionally fears is another video game crash like the one in '83, which was believed to be mainly caused by the video game E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600, which is bad. It's bad. All that can be inferenced from it is E.T. falls down holes, dies, Elliot comes and revives him, and then that guy takes him to ancient Rome. And I'm quoting this from a YouTuber that I watched too. It was in his list of the worst games ever created, which also includes Superman 64, which was bad. It's bad. And then there's good games. Games that have been made by either independent or professional developers like Nintendo. Nintendo has made a lot of the games. They're considered to be the one company that single-handedly uh, bring the video game crash to an end, which is a remarkable feat considering that they only had one console at the time, and that was the Famicom or the Family Computer, or what is more commonly known as the Nintendo Entertainment System or NES, which has also been recently remade. There's a lot of remakes going around, which, as you can see, it kind of gets infuriating after a while. Why do they keep on remaking it? Make money, not to lose money, in order to save their own company. That's one reason why Nintendo hasn't had a non-exclusive title since the CDI games. Everyone remembers the Philips CDI, right? No, it was one of the first CD using consoles. 3 buttons. One they've never used. The Golden Gem. Well, the games were pretty horrible. The best one that I saw that was made by Nintendo for it was Mario. Was Hotel Mario, which is still bad. And also, they weren't exactly the ones to fully make it. Philips was helping them. And not all company collaborations are bad. Just look at let's look at when Nintendo and SquareSoft, which is now Square Enix, worked together to create Mario RPG, which was critically acclaimed. I didn't like it because I didn't really get past the first bit because it wasn't my cup of tea. And most of the independently developed games are, when they're made, they're pretty good because the developers are really overzealous with getting out bugs. The only time it's bad is usually when it's on purpose or if they don't try. I haven't really played too many indie games that I haven't liked. Even the bad ones were pretty good. And bad one, I mean Goat Simulator, which is, if you know, it's purposely bad and glitchy. That's what makes it very fun. And also, it's practically impossible to crash. Every time I've played it, I have not managed to crash it, and I have tried. It's glitchy in the fact to where different things happen. Sort of like how Mario 64 Chaos Edition is, but it doesn't crash a lot. So, looking for a solution, I formulated a plan to allow companies to where they allow independent developers to have games published onto their own consoles, even if they're not played, but limit them from having physical recreations of it unless they make it a paid game. Otherwise, have them put on the eStore as a free game so that they don't have to, so that it's more competitive. The company, it could be like how FNAF is, although FNAF is exclusively PC, or mobile on Android, and you could buy them on the mobile version so that Scott Cawthon, the creator of it, can get money from it, along with merchandise that you buy from his successful franchise, or you could play it for free online if you can find the download links, which I've searched, but I think uh, they're on Steam, and right now I don't have access to Steam except for maybe on Fridays. So I'll look sooner or later. But in conclusion, if companies would take more risk, then it would make the gaming world more colorful than it is now, like how it used to be when Nintendo first pulled it out of the crash of '83. Otherwise, we're going to have another crash of '83 because going up to it, yes, there were risks being taken, and that's one reason why it was put into there, but it wasn't colorful in a sense of variety. There wasn't too much variety. It was pretty much the hardware was being used the same way, and the music was not good. The controls were not good, and they tried, but it's like Batman: Dark Tomorrow. They failed at absolutely everything. As long as they do it right, it will pay off in the long run with more variety of series and also more games and different genres being created, which is what some of the independent developers have created over the years. Scott Hoffman actually created a type of horror game where you stay in a spot, tension builds up, you check your camera, shut doors without moving, and the payoff is a jump scare, which is very which doesn't seem like it'd be that good, but I've tried some of the fan games and it really does pay off. It genuinely scares you with jump scares, and also the music is sort of like a creepy ambience, and the characters are very creepy. But if it's done right, it'll have great benefits in the future.